Good morning. How are you feeling? I wanted to talk about this topic for a minute now. I'm not in any way, shape, or form a therapist or a doctor. I want to talk about this because I thought not a lot of people talk about mental health enough. So I think it was a good topic because I know I personally struggle with a few mental health disorders and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people do as well. So over the past 2 weeks, I have not filmed a video at all. I've been really busy with school, and it was a very hard week last week. It wasn't a huge deal that I didn't film a video, but I still wanted to put something out. I still wanted to put out content. That's why I'm here. I wrote down a few things that I wanted to talk about throughout this video. So I think the first thing that I do want to talk about is therapy. I think everyone takes advantage of therapy. Therapy is a very great way to express your feelings to someone. You don't know the person, but it's a great way just to talk to people. When I first started therapy, or when I first was thinking about therapy, I was just like, I don't think I need therapy. It's not gonna make me feel any better. I don't want to tell my feelings to a stranger. It didn't really feel like a good idea for me because I was like, I do want to talk to someone, but I don't want to talk to a stranger. But I also felt like if I talked to all my friends or like anyone in my family about my problems or like how I'm struggling, I felt like I was putting too much on them. And that was my biggest fear, is talking to my feelings to a stranger, because yeah, I had a bunch of friends, but I didn't think me telling them everything and anything on my mind was going to be the best thing ever. And another sign during the summer of this past summertime, I felt my mental health getting way worse. Like it was like I felt like almost sad all day. I was having anxiety attacks almost every day. I was anxious, wasn't eating enough. Like there was a lot of problems that I was experiencing that I didn't really know what they were. And I was diagnosed with anxiety, but I didn't really know how to fix it. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna deal with it myself. I didn't need therapy. I thought I didn't need therapy. I was doing work and school during that time. So I had a lot of stress put on me that I didn't really realize was that much stress, until I was like, I need to take a step back. I need to try and find a therapist when I get back on campus, and I really need to figure this out because this is very unhealthy for me and the others around me. During that time, it was more about like me hiding my feelings, or like trying to mask, even though I was heavily exhausted, heavily anxious. I didn't feel like going to work. I didn't feel like going to class. I didn't feel like doing anything. All I wanted to do was just lay in bed. Like I had no energy to do anything. There were a lot of fears going through my head because I was like, I don't know what to do in this moment. And I didn't want to tell everyone my business. I didn't want to go rant to everyone at work, like all my friends. Like I knew they were there for me, but I didn't really know how to express what I was feeling or how I was feeling. Especially at work, I had to put on a smile, and that was the hardest thing to do ever. I was trying to just get through the day and then go home and just breathe, because I felt like I couldn't breathe at work because I was like, okay, everyone's needing me, I'm doing this and that. And just in general, I felt like I was heavily drained because there was a lot of strain on me, and everyone noticed it. But like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going through some stuff. It's no big deal. That's how I put it. So I was like, I don't think this is healthy, but I don't really know how to express how I'm feeling to them. So I didn't. That was my first problem. That's when I found therapy. And it's a really good way to express like how you're feeling to just someone you don't know. It's just good to get stuff off your chest. And when I first started therapy, I was like, I don't really know what to talk about, but this is how I'm feeling. And like I've been struggling with a few things recently. I think she just talked to me through it about like, like how I could cope with it. Like basically starting off with like what's going on during the week, like how have you been feeling, how are you, like tell me about yourself, was all that stuff. And then it just got deeper and deeper into the point where it's like, okay, now we're going to talk about feelings. Now we're going to talk about how we can cope with those feelings, how we can like further express those feelings, all that stuff. Like it's a really good way to figure out what you're feeling, why you're feeling, and how to cope with that feeling. I realized I hold a lot of stuff in. That's not good. The more you hold stuff in, the more it tends to build up, and then you explode, essentially. I've been in therapy for about 6 or 7 months. It hasn't been like a huge therapy journey, but it's been a journey for me. I think it's been a good ways. The more I know how I felt, it was easier to be like, okay, we can do a breathing exercise, we can do a grounding exercise, we can just sit with our feelings for a little bit and then figure out a way to cope, or like what we can do, like get to the next step. If you're still thinking about going to therapy, just go. I was holding off therapy for about 3 months until I really decided to go and take that leap. It does help you. Seriously. The next thing I want to talk about is overthinking. Now, I know almost everyone overthinks every day or every other day or just sometime in their life they overthink. Let me tell you, it is draining and exhausting. I know it is. I get it. I used to do it almost every day. I don't really overthink as much, but I do have those thoughts that go over and over my head, and that does destroy me and the people around me. Overthinking is something that I would also like to fix. Like, I think I've been looking at some audiobooks about overthinking, or like talking to people about it, or writing stuff down. For example, I've been trying to journal for a couple months now. I think I've been journaling for almost a year now. I will say it has helped a couple times, but not entirely. I think it's something that is helpful in a way, because like, you don't have to talk about this to a person or anyone. You can simply write it down, close the book, put the book away until the next time you want to write something down. It is healthy in a sense, because like, you don't have to tell people all your business and stuff. You can do that, or it's just something simple by doing a breathing exercise. Overthinking can be very dangerous. I know I've overthought so many things in my life, and that has not been healthy for me or anyone around me, because I hold stuff in and then I start to believe those things as I think them. It's more of like, I'm not talking to anyone because I feel like this is a stupid thing to be, anxious about, or like it's a stupid thing to overthink about. Please be nice to yourself. It's not stupid. It's not a big deal. I'm trying to tell myself that now. Every time I do overthink about like a certain thing, it's like I feel like I have to talk about it, because if I don't talk about it, it's going to ruin me and the people around me. So please talk to someone if you can. If you think it's not a big deal, I would just talk to like a close friend, like anyone around you that is close to you, so you can just like get that off your chest, so you can finally get out your head. It's taking up brain space. It is taking up brain space, like seriously. So I would just not. And please talk to someone, like a therapist, a close friend if you can, or you can just write it out in a journal. Overthinking can be dangerous, and I feel like you should talk to someone. So please, if you can, reach out to someone. It's okay. Another topic I want to talk about is taking care of yourself. I know a lot of people don't take care of themselves when they're like in a mental slump. I know personally I've been there. There have been days after I have waken up, I don't feel like myself. I feel really sad. I'm drained. I'm kind of like, I don't want to do today. I don't want to do anything today. All I want to do is just lay in bed and just bed rot. We've all been in certain places where it's like, you don't want to do anything. You just want to lay here and just like, sit with your feelings for a little bit, and that's okay. Sitting with your feelings is a very healthy way to understand how you feel and why you feel it. It is something that I've learned, and I think it's a very healthy thing to do, because if you don't realize, or if you don't know what you're feeling, you don't really know how to cope with that feeling. So if you're feeling sad, you first understand that you're feeling sad and why you're feeling sad. Then you just kind of cope with that for a second. You do like a breathing exercise, you do like a coping exercise, you do a grounding exercise. You can do anything that you really feel is helpful. Even if you just want to lay in bed some more, that's totally fine too. There are other times where you just feel like exhausted before the day even starts. I can understand there are times where you just don't have time to lay in bed. You just have to get up and just conquer the day, and you're kind of like sitting there like, I don't really want to do anything. And you are more prone to just laying there more and not getting up and actually starting your day. Because once you start your day, you'll feel a little bit better. I can't say that for most people or all people. That's helped me like a couple times, not 100%, but it has helped me be like, okay, I feel a little better once I got up and started my day a little bit. Maybe go outside, take a walk, read a book, like do something like, some homework, maybe do some like schoolwork, do like an activity that you like to do like hobbies you like to do something that will like get you up and out of that slump. I can understand that you can feel slumps sometimes. Everyone feels like a a little slump in their life. I think taking care of yourself is very important because it really shows like, hey, you have to get up, you have to do some stuff today. And I understand that you don't want to, but once you take care of yourself, like once you go take a shower, once you go brush your teeth, once you go wash your face, once you go outside for a little bit, it does help you get out of that slump a little bit, because that is really, really important to really go outside, get active, get some fresh air, take care of yourself, get yourself cleaned up so you feel cleaner, you feel better about yourself. The last topic I want to talk about is this mental health book. Forgot to mention, this video is no way sponsored by anything. I'm just telling you guys about my experiences and what's helped me so far. I have found this audiobook that's called It's Not Your Fault by Alex Howard. And I discovered this last week when I was going through a really rough week. And this book is really talking about like what your childhood trauma has done and how it shaped you and how to heal from that trauma. It's in 3 parts so far. I'm on part 2 currently. I am almost on part 3. And what it's talking about in part 1 is like, like what happened in your childhood, what behaviors that you've noticed, what behaviors have you picked up or anything like that. That part talks about like how it shapes us. And then this part 2 I'm on currently is like how you can heal from it, or how you can reset from everything. This current part is basically about like identifying the behaviors you've picked up, you've done in your childhood that you have not processed yet. You haven't processed any of that in your past and you still hold on to it, and it's still unprocessed trauma. It was something that has kind of shaped me in a way. Basically, he talks a lot about this book about the trauma that has first shaped us in childhood, and then this part 2 is talking about like how you can basically go back and reset everything, what behaviors that you've noticed that you've done in your past that you haven't really coped with yet or haven't really processed yet. Part 3, I don't know what it is. I think part 3 is like actually healing that, but I haven't gotten there yet. I don't want to like spoil it for y'all a little bit, so I think it's really important that you guys go read it. It's on Audible, and I think he has a hard copy too in stores. I've picked up on Audible recently, and I do want to explore more audiobooks to help with like mental health and coping with some stuff. And I think it's really important because like going forward, I do want a better me for me and for others around me. If you know that you have like unprocessed trauma or like anything that you don't know like entirely what's wrong with you, you first have to go back to your childhood and heal your childhood trauma. Heal your inner child, because I think that is really important to the first step of noticing of your like unhealthy behaviors, your emotional behaviors. I think that's important to really go back first and cope with that, and then also find ways to cope and heal that before you take that next step in your life. I think that is very, very important, because I've learned a few things about myself that I didn't know had a name, but just because they have a name doesn't give it an excuse. I understand that, but it also helps me understand like, oh, like this is why I've been feeling, this is what I've been feeling, there's a name for it, and this is why, and this is what it means. And I think it really helps me understand and grasp the fact of, everything that's been going on in the past. So I think that's been really important. I hope I made sense throughout this video, because half the time I just been rambling, but I think I kind of got the gist of it. If this helps anyone, and I'm hoping this will help a lot of you guys like understand what's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next one.